All right, everybody, welcome back to Cool Sports Chat, episode 36. I had to think about that for a brief second. Today, we are going to look back at the week that was week 5, look ahead at the week 6 matchups, and kind of discuss what our teams have been doing. Brendan, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Surviving. Bobby, how are you?
Good, man.
I saw Scott, so I'm sure he will be back on here in a minute. Bobby, what stood out to you this week?
It seemed like we had more fire underneath us this week, more umph. The defense looked really good. The offense finally got going, was clicking on all cylinders.
Well, and their jerseys look much better.
I was at the game too.
That should be the year-round.
I went to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bronco fans weren't calling for heads this time, so that's good. Brendan, what did you do to watch the games this week?
I took a relaxing day and just sat around my house.
What games did you get? Because I know Kansas is a little bit different than us.
We had the Buffalo and Texans game, and then the Packers Rams in the afternoon on CBS, and then if you had Fox, we got the Commanders and Browns game as well.
Okay, so snoozer there. Yeah, let's see. What did I watch? I watched Thursday night, which turned out to be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, I watched a little bit of the Broncos. And who played Sunday night? Was that the Cowboys?
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cowboys.
That was a tough game to watch.
Yeah.
How about that? Dak Prescott being the first player to throw an interception in the same game on 2 different days.
Right. Scotty, how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing fine, doing good. Now that I can hear you, everything's great.
Well, how was watching? Because the Cardinals did good this weekend.
Well, yeah, they actually had a pretty exciting game and did better than I was expecting. So I'm pretty sure I picked the 49ers for that one. So yeah, happy that they finally came through with this one last night, or this past weekend, I mean.
Yeah, no, Kyler looked pretty good, and to come behind like that, now people are like, the 49ers are in trouble, but still pretty early in the season. But speaking of early in the season, we had some big news breaking today. Brennan, do you want to go over what happened in the coaching world of the NFL?
Robert Saleh got hacked.
Yeah, he got fired.
Not just fired. He got escorted out of the building. Didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to the team or anything. Like that's. I feel. Any of the teams that pick him up as the DC should be happy.
Oh yeah,
because he's a great DC.
Yeah, the 49ers did good under him. The Jets had a good defense. The fact they didn't let him say bye to the players and escorted is crazy. I did see a report that Nathaniel Hackett was about to be fired, and then they fired him instead.
Yeah.
Which, when your offense is the issue, it felt like a weird choice.
I kind of wonder if somebody behind the center might have had something to say about that.
Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think?
We were trying not to say names there.
Hey, unless Aaron Rodgers is happening to listen to our podcast and wants to come on, then feel free.
He can join us. He can tell us we're stupid. Go right ahead. Come on, Aaron. Tell us we're dumb.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of the what was that, week 2? Who did they play week 2? Or no, week 3 when they played the Patriots?
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
And they just decimated the Patriots, but Salah goes in for the hug and Aaron shoves him. That was going around a lot today. So I feel like there was another big piece of news. NFL wise.
Quarterback.
Oh
This
yeah.
is-
So quarterback news. We'll start in New Orleans.
Yep. Derek Carr.
Derek Carr got hurt. Right now, it sounds like we could be seeing Spencer Rattler next week, starting under center, which I'm excited about. I think Spencer is a good quarterback, and I think he could give some life there and a little bit more maneuverable. In other quarterback news, Drake May for New England will be getting the start. I think they're going against Houston, and Houston with rookie quarterbacks is quite rough on them. So we should see how this one goes. I mean, thrown into the fire. Scott, as a Drake May fantasy football owner, how are you feeling about this?
Well, it's one of those. I'm going to see what happens. I think I'm going to stick behind my usual starter, which is right now is Trevor Lawrence. And one of those type weeks that I'm just going to sit on whatever happens. Drake, if Drake goes off and puts up, 50 points for us, well, that's awesome. But I'll just maybe use him then next week. But it's going to be a wait and see, at least for the fantasy world.
Yeah, no, we should see because wide receivers, New England definitely needs to bring in some help. And one receiver that might be on the move here soon is Devontae Adams.
Yep.
The Patriots did just get Kendrick Bourne back.
Yeah, which will help.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll help my fantasy team because I need a third receiver.
I just need a steady team. This week that we're going into is going to be my down week because that's how I've been doing. Really good week and then just terrible week. So that's what I've expected. But yeah, Devontae might get traded. There was some news that it might be within the next 48 hours. And if any trade stuff like that, I push X to doubt. So we'll see. I will only believe it once it goes through. What was the other? I know there's another big news. Let's go. I don't know. We'll find it later. There's big news in the fantasy football league, though, Scott. Making a trade. Do you want to walk us through your decision to trade McCaffrey and who'd you trade? McCaffrey and who for Thomas?
McLaurin.
McLaurin. McLaurin. Okay.
Yeah. Ron has asked me every single year since I drafted McCaffrey to get McCaffrey. And every single year I would tell him no matter what he sent me. So, but I have been really interested in Thomas Jr. since he came in, and really kind of been watching him the last few weeks, the last couple weeks, and kind of decided I really, really wanted to have him. So then I looked onto our league, and who does he happen to have him but your dad? So I figured since I was kind of really wanting him, especially for him not only being his skill and it being a good receiver, but that he's young. This is his first year, and to go along with my other rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., I figured that would be a good pairing. Along with, I could make a triple stack, since, as I said, I have Trevor Lawrence and I also have Tank Bigsby, that I can do the Three Amigos stack. So we'll see how that goes. But I really, really wanted to get Thomas into onto my team, and like I said, your dad had him, So I figured I would then give him McCaffrey. McCaffrey, of course, being on IR, his Achilles being bad. Maybe his time is starting to run out. I don't know. Hard to say. But then I kind of threw in McLaurin because I figured he wouldn't accept just a one-on-one Thomas to McCaffrey deal. So I threw in McLaurin, and he grabbed it, which is fine. So unfortunately, I'll have to say goodbye to McCaffrey. I've loved him for the last 4 years now in our league, but we got to move on. Got to give something to get something. So I'm going to go with the talent and the youth instead of the talent and the age. We'll see how that goes.
Right. Yeah, it's especially in our fantasy league, being that it's a dynasty league, and you can keep people. It always helps to try to get younger, and you always want to get younger gradually. We've seen, a couple teams go like young super quick, like Dark Horse, and it took him like 4 or 5 years to rebuild his team back up. So yeah, anytime you're trying to do that, just do it slowly, like you've been doing over the last few years, getting quarterbacks and receivers and tight ends and stuff like that. So
yeah, this is my year of rookie receivers, since I have now Thomas, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Bowers at tight end. So gonna keep my receiving core here now for a few years. We'll see how that goes.
right, yeah, I'm hoping, especially with Spencer Rattler coming in, if he can do well. And I have him and Caleb, and Lamar is still relatively young, so that should help me not have to have the quarterback issues that I was having the last few years. With last year, when I went to set my keepers, I had 7 quarterbacks on my bench because of injury. And I was like, that is terrible. Bobby, young quarterback in this week. How are you feeling about Bo Nix?
I think he's doing well. He's starting to finally get his, mark, make his mark.
Well, it's his first start for you in the league. So, who let's go to fantasy real quick. We'll jump there first. Week 4.
He had
Bobby,
like
who did you
34
play?
points this week. I forgot to put him in.
Oh no, it was week 5. I was like, wait a minute. All right, so we'll start there. Brendan, you and me just flipped what we did the last time we played. Last time you killed me, and now this time I killed you. So now we're even. So we'll see what happens if we meet in the playoffs. Let's see. Anything that jumped out to you about your fantasy team, Brendan?
Not really, but I guess don't listen to. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I benched Stevenson because they were saying Gibson was going to be the starter, and he had been doing better the last couple weeks. And then Stevenson went out and put 19 points up and got a touchdown, ran a bunch, and made me look like a fool. The Panthers rookie receiver had like 1 or 2 good games with Andy Dalton in, and so I put him in this week because I needed a receiver. And I think he got hurt. And I traded for a tight end because Kyle Pitts was too up and down. Shout out to Matt for bringing back an outlaw. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like Zach Ertz, and I will keep Zach Ertz until he retires. But 10 targets, and he had 2 catches. I was like, the production's there. You just need to catch it.
You just need to catch it, especially since you have the quarterback to get the double points there. Yeah, no, for a while there, it was looking like I'd regret sitting Caleb this week for Lamar, and then Lamar just had a game. Like the game between Lamar and Joe Burrow was insane. It was like 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 700 yards, like insane back and forth.
And I'm not
Cincinnati's
shocked that when your receiver gets 200 yards, you're playing me because I think it's happened like 3 times now.
my receiver, Jamar. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jamar Chase had a day. 46
yards.
points. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase by themselves could have beat me.
I don't think by themselves. I think they're
Okay,
at
give me
87.
2 of my 92 points. Sorry.
Well, and then another team on a hot streak right now is Grayson, and the Bulldogs went out 132 points, so they go to 3-2. Mark getting the job done for a while there. It looked like Ty might pull up the upset though. He came back, but he kept in Sam Laporta. Oh, and speak of the Grayson, and he will appear. Grayson.
What's going on, guys?
Now we were just talking about your team pulling out all the stops this week in fantasy football.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by that too, to be honest with you.
Also, we did touch upon the big coaching news from the NFL. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Are we talking about the Jets firing their head coach?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's no surprise to me, but if Aaron Rodgers doesn't like you, Aaron Rodgers is going to get what Aaron Rodgers wants.
It's almost what Scott said.
Or, I mean, hold on, I'm sorry. What I meant to say was, just the Jets franchise needs to go in a separate direction, and I just don't think it's just cooperating visions. You know what I mean?
I find it funny they fired the coach. I mean, I understand it because the rumor mill is Saleh was going to fire Hackett, their offensive coordinator, because their offense has been just as bad with Rodgers as it was with Zach Wilson last year.
Mm.
And then next thing you know, he's getting escorted out of the premises by security. So I think that's a first.
Ruh-roh raggy. No bueno.
All right. Let's get back to fantasy. So Mark won. Dark Horse. Bobby, you almost got Dark Horse this week. He only beat you by 6 points. You guys did pretty good.
That's because I didn't put in Bo Nix.
Well, I don't know if anyone imagined he'd do that good. But see, now this week you have to put him in. So
Yeah.
Oh, and then the surprise game. For a while, it looked like Thundercats was going to run away with it. But Birmingham Bats stays undefeated, beating him 121-107. And then we get to Scott. You guys scored the most this week, and you guys just like down South Park Cows. Even though they scored 124 points, it wasn't close.
Yeah, that might be that 190 points. That might be a career high for me for our league. We'll have to go back a number of years here to go over the stats to see what if I did anything better than that. But pretty sure 190 is my career best for us.
Especially in the recent era, it seems like 200's gotten really hard to hit recently. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of points to put up, 190. And then BP Bears, after the year they had last year, Brian's team's coming back. I think it's 2 in a row now. They've moved to 2 and 3, beating David and the Cryptid Critters. And I know David said he might just be looking for the number 1 draft pick at this point because his team keeps dropping. Grayson, what do you think you guys are going to be doing for fantasy moves this week? What are you looking at? Oh, you're on mute.
Still mute.
Always fun. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea at this point in time, but we're gonna figure it out.
Hey, we can only do what we can do. It was a long night last night on the live stream, so got off the rails. But if you guys want us to hear about Joker, fully ado. Yeah, it's live. You can find it. Brendan, what are your moves that you're looking to make this week?
I don't really know. We'll look around, see what we can do.
See what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the Eagles Club, and they have a dartboard. I'm just going to throw the darts and see what players it hits on, and that's who's starting.
Yeah.
Scott, we already know you made the move. Are you making any other moves you think this week?
Oh no, not this week. Actually, I think I've pretty much set my team. Especially, really thankful that Tank Bigsby is starting to getting out of the Travis Etienne shadow and starting to show off for himself. I think that's going to be a big help. Kind of calm my heart for giving away McCaffrey. So.
Right. See, guys, just remember the story Scott said, never give up on your dreams. It took my dad 4 years, but he got him finally. We got to do that. What is that little South Park skit when he comes down from the scene? He's like, we got him. Bobby, what are you looking to do this week?
I'm looking to win, and I'm trying to shake the roster a little bit, and trying to get some new players. Looking around.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make some trades. There was not too many on the free agent market. I did pick up a Juju Smith-Schuster, who put up over 100 yards this week and should be one of the 2 starting wide receivers for the foreseeable future for the Chiefs. So
that was really funny about Juju. He has jumped between you and my team his whole career. If you don't have him, I have him. If I don't have him, you have him. I think he was on your mom's for a little bit last year or 2 years ago. Yeah. But then he went right back to one of our teams.
Right. Yeah. Juju is one of those. It's always what's fun about a dynasty league is the players get associated with certain people. And like, I know when Derrick Henry was just running wild that game, I was like, oh, Matt's got to be loving that, you know? So it's kind of fun. Let's look at the upcoming week. I would say dogs and cats matchup. Scott, you and Matt should be a good one.
Yeah, he thumped me pretty good a couple weeks ago, so it's the rematch here, and hopefully now with the couple changes I made, we'll see how that goes. So I'll give him a better battle this week.
Right. I mean, right now you were projected 9-point victory, so should be good there. Looks like Brian and BP Bears going against South Park Cows, both 2 and 3. Does have Shane projected victory. Has Cryptid Critters projected to beat my dad, so could the Bats be going down 5-1? Let's see. Dark Horse projected over Iowa Eagles by like 30. Mark plays Bobby, so that should be a good one, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. It's a Grayson versus Brendan matchup. We got some trash talk we need to talk about right now.
No, I'm too humble to know my place in this lot. I think my streak's about to end pretty aggressively. Hey.
I don't have Justin Jefferson this week. I wouldn't hold your breath too much. I don't have a good backup receiver.
Well, let me take a look here at
all my receivers are hit and miss.
I mean,
that sounds about right for this year.
What?
Said if you want Juju.
I was actually thinking about trading I was seeing if your mom would trade Worthy.
That might be a tough one, especially now that he's a starter. But remember our story earlier. Never hurts to try. For 4 years.
For 4 years.
Brendan, I know you got an interesting trade you sent me a picture of. Do you want to tell us the details of that trade you turned down?
It was for receiver No, I have to go back and find it now. Hang on. It was for receiver off of Dark Horse's team, A.T. Perry, who plays for nobody. In return, I would give him my number one running back in James Conner.
Sounds like a fair trade.
I'm sorry. James Conner is not going off my team. He's going to be an outlaw for life. He's going to have to retire before he gets off my team.
I don't know. Grayson, do you think that was a good trade? Should Brendan have taken that one?
I mean, football is a fickle game. Only time will tell. But on face value, I don't know if I would have made that trade. But, again, this season's already so stinking weird as it is. Could work out.
Right. Yeah, maybe I'll make a trade or two in the next week. I got to get in on it. Everyone's making trades. Brendan's trade and Scott's trade. And
I mean, who knows? Deshaun Watson could make a comeback.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
There was heavy sarcasm implied on that one.
Yeah, Grayson is a Browns fan, so he knows firsthand.
Oh, football does not exist to me between the hours of 11 to 1 because the Browns play usually around that time here, and I can't. There's already enough going on in my life. I don't need that on top of it.
How do you feel about your $260 million quarterback quitting on your team and walking off the field?
So great. Feels so good. It's not like it's another knife in the heart because, the Haslams wanted to bring in, Captain Rub and Tug. Sorry if that's
just listen to Terry Bradshaw. He on national TV said we should put him down.
I mean, Terry Bradshaw, he may not have a lot of good takes, but I get it.
Did you see everyone else in that panel? They were all just looking at him and they're like, you mean bench him, right? Just put him down.
Put him out to pasture.
I think if the Browns played a little bit better and made that an actual game, then Jaden Daniels wouldn't have been benched before the fourth quarter.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's like all of this is resting on Deshaun Watson, and I don't understand why. And we have proof that he can't lead because we lost to the Commanders, to the Washington Commanders.
I thought you guys
it wasn't good.
Did you guys think your game was at 3 or something? Because I didn't see you guys show up.
I'm pretty sure I don't know, dude. It's like they let Joe Flacco go. It's just so
they
bad,
need to
dude.
put Jameson. Put Jameson.
Yeah.
It's better than Deshaun, without a doubt. They're just trying to get their $260 million worth, and it's like, he's not playing. Let him go. Suck it up for 2 years. Beg Joe Flacco to come back.
Hey, I mean, the Colts are looking pretty happy with that. Let's look. Last week, did anyone pick Atlanta? Brennan, you picked Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
That was a game, though. That was a fun
That was a scary good game.
Yeah.
I loved the memes afterwards because it was like Kirk Cousins passing was like 503, and the Patriots so far, like all season, only had 400 yards of passing. And I laughed at that.
Oh, yeah. And then the Atlanta commented in like the actual Atlanta Falcons like Facebook or something. They said it's the one time they put our logos next to each other and it wasn't bad for us. Yeah, no, Kirk is slowly looking better. Baker looked really good. It was just a pretty good game all around.
Oh, dude, like I stand by it still. Baker's the man. Cleveland should have kept him too. I'm tired of rooting for this team. It hurts.
Well, Grayson, talking about Baker, you have Baker and you have Jared Goff, and they both do good. So how do you decide which one's playing?
Honestly, Jared Goff, he still plays really well, but Baker still has that desire to prove who he is. Plus, they picked up a really good quarterback. I don't know if he has the ability to work with the same offense that Tom Brady was working with. Time isn't to tell if he's going to be as good or be able to play it as well, but I think he's been able to show himself as a quality quarterback, despite what all the haters wanted to say. So I go with Baker, just like whenever I know that he can outplay a team's defense because he's been in the league long enough to know what they're going to run. And I go with Baker most of the time because he just ends up putting that little bit of extra zhuzh on there to make sure he gets up and over to where he wants to be. So I'm a ride-or-die Baker fanboy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I liked Baker coming out of college. I think he's a good quarterback. So, speaking of quarterbacks, perhaps the game that got a certain coach fired was 7 a.m. our time. But the Jets came back a little bit, but it was that last pick in the red zone by Aaron Rodgers to seal the game. Who watched that and who thought it should be that close? Anybody? Nobody? Okay.
Yeah. No, I couldn't really. I hadn't really watched it too much. Of course, it was very early in the morning, being that I was in London. So, actually, just now thinking, it's like, what if the Jets had made their coaching change while they were still in London? Would that guy still be trying to thumb his way trying to get back over the pond? I don't know.
Oh, there's been memes about that too, like him trying to hitchhike on the wing of the private jet coming back, or him hiding in the luggage. Oh yeah, there's been memes about that too.
Okay, that's good.
And then let's see, Carolina lost to Chicago pretty badly. It was bad enough for Carolina. They actually brought Bryce Young back into the game on the last few drives. So, we kind of talked about that. Andy Dalton was going to give him a boost, but for how long? And it looks like it might be already wearing off. Carolina's just a mess. It needs a new owner. I mean, that's all I gotta say for them.
Yeah.
And hey, Caleb Williams last 2 weeks, like 600 combined yards, no interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 120 passer rating or something, QBR, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, again, I think people are trying to give up on the young quarterbacks way too soon. Just give them some time. Another of the really good games, Baltimore, Cincinnati, somehow was an early game. Did not get flexed to move that god-awful Pittsburgh game out of Sunday Night Football. But 700 combined yards between the quarterbacks, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, just a shootout. And the Bengals kicker missed the field goal to win the game.
Apparently, they wanted to flex the Ravens Commanders game that's this weekend. They wanted to flex that into Sunday night, but CBS is saying no.
Yeah, they said, no way. We don't want to sponsor the commies.
No, CBS wants to keep them.
Oh, they want to? Now we know everything we need to know.
Yeah.
They're being paid off by Big Commander. That's all I know. No, but Baltimore, Cincinnati looked really good. Cincinnati is probably one of the best 1-4 teams. Their big issue is not having Joe Mixon. They don't have a run game.
Yeah.
Still baffles me that they thought they could replace Joe Mixon like that, but it is what it is. Miami barely beat New England. Was another of those kind of snore fests. Just kind of hard to watch. We've already talked about this one, but Commanders won 34-13 over Cleveland. Scott, as a Colts fan, you picked the Jaguars, and you were correct. What did you think about that one?
Well, it was a lot closer than many have been in the past. In the past, the Jacksonville just kind of been like the cats that they are, and just ran away with everything and could not be caught. But at least this past weekend, it was a very good game, good close game. I love the nice long shot to Alec Pierce that gave me a bunch of points in a couple of my leagues. But that doesn't happen all the time. Again, Flacco has been great in backup, just as he's been over and over again. Hope that the Colts would actually go ahead and pay the man a ton of money, give him starters money just to be the constant backup. That would be wonderful. So, yeah, it was a really good game. I wish I could have. I wish they would have actually shown it here in Arizona, but from what I saw about it, it was really good. Jacksonville came out on top, and that's all we can say.
Yeah, and then next one up on the docket, Buffalo just losing to Houston by 3. It was a close game, but there was wasn't it this game that Josh Allen got knocked out and they just allowed him to play that very next snap?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I was
Did they-
kind of watching. I was watching that game. He hit that ground. He hit his head on that ground pretty hard.
Yeah,
And he
but I
went-
thought he left right away.
He played that very next snap.
Yeah, no, he played that snap, but then when the series was over, he went off and went to the blue tent and was there for a couple of plays, and then they came in. They put in their backup for, I think the backup played one play, and then Allen came in, or Trubisky. That's right, Trubisky came in, did I think one play, maybe two, and then Allen came in for the rest of the game. So.
Yeah, can't be doing it like that with the quarterbacks. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty obvious he was knocked out. Like you could see it in the replay, but they were like, "Nah, just keep him in. It's fine. You don't need that." Bobby, you were at the game. Tell us about Denver's game against the Raiders.
I thought it was really good.
Hot. Yeah, it didn't look so hot early on.
No.
Time, they were kind of hanging on, and then
They
half,
came out on the third quarter. They came out more aggressive.
and you know what happened to cause that? Bo Nix yelling at Sean Payton.
Yeah, I don't know what he said though. I like to know what he said to him.
Hey, it's a whole role reversal. Last year was Sean Payton yelling at Russell. Now the quarterback's yelling at Sean Payton.
Yeah,
I might like Bo Nix even more now.
Yeah, I just remember what he said.
He said, "Sean, you couldn't play quarterback. That's why you're coaching."
Yep.
Because who did Sean play quarterback for? Was it Dallas? I think
Sean
he was
Payton
back.
was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, Payton was good. Yeah, I think it was.
Let me see if I can fact check myself.
Call up his record, his history.
He didn't want to say it though, I guess.
Oh, he was in Chicago for a little bit.
But he didn't spend much time there.
Yeah, let's see. He tried out for the Chiefs for one day. In 1987, he was quarterback for the Bears and the Pittsburgh Gladiators in the Arena Football League before his rights were sold to the Ottawa Rough Riders, the Canadian Football League. And then he played in 87 for the Bears during the strike season. 1988, he played for the Leicester Panthers, the UK Budweiser National Football League. So, you and Budweiser coming together, helping Sean Payton play quarterback right there. Let's see what else happened this week. Arizona, I mean, you got to watch that game, Scott. Tell us about Arizona actually pulling that one out from San Francisco.
Well, again, kind of like as I was thinking with the Jaguars and the Colts, kind of thinking that the 49ers were going to pretty much run roughshod over the Cardinals, but that didn't happen. And Kyler Murray, sometimes I think he does too much, and sometimes he really goes ahead and lets, especially Connor, go ahead and handle the ball. And Connor has been plowing through the line very well. And what passes that Murray has been making have been nice and solid. He didn't hit my man Marvin Harrison very often, but he got the other ones pretty good. Got Wilson and got his tight end really well. So we end up getting a win with some help from our kicker. That was important.
And then let's see, we got Green Bay beating the Rams 24-19. I think we all picked Green Bay, so no surprise there.
Yep.
The Seahawks lost to the Giants, so I'm going to blame the guy that yelled "Go Giants" at me walking around town last week for that loss. And then Dallas beat the Steelers in a very bad game. I mean, a lot of it was hampered because of the weather. It was raining cats and dogs. And I think, what was it, the last second, 20 seconds, Dallas scores a touchdown to go ahead. Because there wasn't very much time. And then Pittsburgh's offense, again, just looks kind of anemic. It's kind of how it's been the last 6 years, Ever since they've had Mike Tomlin spin defense, and then really only when they had the 3 Bs when they were doing good. Let's see. Monday night, I did not watch this, but the Chiefs beat the Saints. I did see the referees took away a touchdown for the Chiefs. So. For all the people mad about the Chiefs not getting penalties, they took away a touchdown. And like we said, Derek Carr also got hurt, so we'll see who's starting in that one. And we'll start with you. Anything that jumped out to you this week?
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
No, Bobby, what about you?
No.
No?
No.
Grayson, anything jumping out to you this week?
Call it a controversial take, but I was kind of surprised that the Broncos pulled out a win against the Raiders, but that's just me. Other than that, I mean, watching my own team just get beat so bad by the Commanders.
Yeah, I think last week it was pretty one-sided for the Raiders, so I think everyone was kind of with you on that one. Scott, anything stuck out to you?
I think we've pretty much covered all the important things that's happened.
Right. We got a lot of news this week. We're not used to having coaching firings happening week 5, so that was unusual. Thursday night. Oh, good. San Francisco, Seattle. We'll probably lose, but I'll pick Seattle. Why not? Brendan, what about you?
This is a hard game for me because I have the 49ers defense on fantasy. And a couple weeks ago, I put them in because I was like, oh, they're facing the Rams, a division foe who doesn't have receivers. They'll do good. And then they did terrible, and they lost. And then they did good against the Cardinals, even though they still lost, but the defense still got me a good amount of points. So I don't know what to think about the 49ers right now. I'm going to choose the Seahawks just because I don't know how to feel about the 49ers right now.
Bobby, what about you?
I'm going Seattle too. I don't know. I think the 49ers have kind of fallen off a little bit, the offense, since what's his name got hurt, the quarterback.
Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Yeah, I mean, Shanahan, and this goes back to his dad, their offense was very much built around a running back.
Yep.
And so when you don't have that, it really hurts the offense. Scott, who you got?
Oh, I'm going to take the Seahawks on this one too, especially since they are at home. I think the 12th men will be standing up proud for the Seahawks tonight on that night.
And Grayson, are we making it a full house, or you're gonna be the lone wolf?
You know what? Give me the lone wolf stature. I think even though the San Francisco 49ers have had issues getting adjusted in their offense, I think they still might. They're a little bit better than the Seahawks, so I think they'll pull it out.
Yeah.
And that jumps us from one day to another day, but this day it's another 7 a.m. game. Really dislike these early ones, but it's the the London Jaguars and the Chicago Bears. Brennan, who you taking? I mean, it's pretty much a home game for the Jaguars.
Don't they actually have a better record in London than at home?
Yeah,
Probably.
they do. They do.
I thought so. I'm going to choose the Bears. I rooted against. Well, maybe I should root against them because I rooted against them last week and they showed up.
Keep doing it, Brennan.
Exactly.
Just let me bet on it first.
I think the Bears will win.
Bobby, what about you?
I'm going Chicago over Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little retribution for them taking the naming rights to our tallest building, right? Scott?
Actually, I'm kind of hoping that this game will be a repeat of the Ravens Bengals game, and just got a whole lot of high scoring back and forth, especially since, as I said, I have the triple stack with Lawrence, Bigsby, and now Thomas at receiver. Yeah, I hope offensively the game goes well. At the second,
you should go play all your Bears.
Yeah. On the other hand, I know that the Bears defense has been picking up pretty well. So, yeah, fantasy-wise, I have a little worries about my team. But anyway, at least on this game, heads up, I am going to go with the Bears for the win.
Grayson?
All right, I'm going lone wolf again on this one.
I haven't picked yet, so you don't know.
Fair enough. I'm calling Jacksonville. I think the Bears still just don't have a solid enough of a foundation. They're hit and miss continuously, just, flip-flop on performance. So tie that in with them having to travel all the way over to England. I just think it's going to be Jacksonville because of that reason.
Yeah, see, both teams kind of have the same offensive struggles, poor coaching. Both have bad offensive coordinators as bad coaches, head coaches as their teams. Both offensive lines aren't the best, and so really it's going to come down, I think, to defense, and that's why I'll have to pick Chicago, just because I think Chicago has the better of the two defenses, and I think Caleb will be able to do a little bit more than Trevor, but I don't know. Maybe like Scott said, this will be one of those shootouts where just, the quarterbacks are hitting and everyone will say, why didn't I start both quarterbacks? So let's see who we got in game 3. Scott, we'll let you start here. It is Arizona traveling to the frozen tundra at Green Bay.
Yeah, well, it's not frozen yet, thankfully for us desert people up here. That's not frozen yet. Actually, I'm going to kind of lean toward the Cardinals here, kind of hoping that the little motor that they pushed on here this past week against the 49ers will continue to the Midwest. So I'm gonna reach out and pick the Cardinals for this weekend.
Brendan, what about you?
Can I say one more thing about Jacksonville?
No.
Well, I'm not going to call it lucky, but with the storm and the hurricane that's about to go through there.
Oh, true.
Them being in London the next 2 weeks is probably one of the best things that could happen to those players.
Yeah. That's true.
Because Jacksonville is in London for the next 2 weeks.
Well, it's because they're the London Jaguars. We know this.
Right? They get 2 games. I'm choosing Green Bay. That was a really good show this past week that I got to watch, and they have some kinks to work back with Jordan Love coming back, but I think they'll be able to get through it, and looks like a pretty good team.
Bobby?
I see Green Bay. Green Bay is really good. They play well at home.
But they're... Yeah. Is Dobbs playing? Or is he still suspended? Is he back?
I think he was just suspended for week 5.
Okay. What was he suspended for? Just personal?
It was by the team. It wasn't by the NFL.
Probably got into a fight with Jordan Love. He came to the practice field with an Aaron Rodgers jersey. That's what happened. They said 86th out of here. Let me see. I will pick. I'll go with Arizona. I don't know. They're so hot and cold. Some weeks they look really good, and then one week they got blown out. But I think this will be one of those really fun matchups where it's like a 30-point to 27-point game or something like that. But I don't know. Something about Arizona's offense is starting to gel. Grayson, what about you?
That's a good question. I honestly think Green Bay is going to pull it out. While I can see your Arizona argument, I think statistically and just what we have here as well, as you said, Arizona's kind of been hit and miss, but when they show up really well. But I don't think this is the game they're going to show up for.
All right. Well, then that leads us to our next matchup, which, again, I will let Scott kick off because it's Indianapolis Colts going to the Tennessee Titans. Scott?
Yeah, Titans right now 1-3. Still really kind of struggling, trying to figure themselves out a little bit. It's kind of hard to say that you bring in your backup quarterback and suddenly your team has figured itself out with the backup. But I kind of think that's the way it's been with the Colts. As I said, the Colts need to start paying Flacco starters money just to make sure he stays with the team. I'm going to go with the Colts on this one.
All right. Brendan, what about you?
I'm going to say Colts just because they have a better quarterback situation. Even when Mason Rudolph went in, that team didn't look good. They somehow pulled off the victory, though, but I still don't have any faith in the Titans doing anything. So
you're saying you do not believe in the Titans?
Plead the fifth.
Bobby, what about you?
I'm going to Indianapolis too. I just don't see Tennessee still doesn't find their way yet.
Grayson.
Yeah, give me Indianapolis, Papa Flacco, and the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're going to pull it out. Tennessee is just ever since their offense fell apart and they traded away key players just for draft picks. I think they've been just running without a direction. So give me Indy.
Well, and it probably doesn't help they got rid of their coach that was actually helping them be a cohesive team. And ever since Vrabel's been gone, they've just been kind of lackluster. Yeah. So, if it's Flacco, if it's Richardson, if it's, Joe Dirt off the street, I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts. Just overall, it's a better team that you can believe in and better coaching for sure. Next matchup is Houston, New England. New England is starting Drake May. So that means Houston will probably blitz over 50% of the time because that's what they do against rookie quarterbacks. So give me the Houston Texans. I just think they're going to make it hard for Drake May. He doesn't have a lot of weapons and not the best offensive line. So I think Tennessee is going – if you have their defense, probably start them this week because much like when they played Caleb Williams, they're going to eat. Brendan.
Drake May needs his welcome to the NFL, and
It's going to be that game.
I can't think of a better defensive coordinator to do it against. I mean, defensive head coach.
Yeah.
I
The
saw
fact they
this
couldn't
skit
wait
that
just 1 week.
I saw a skit that was this one person was doing, and they were imitating Patriots players, and they were like, "Well, if we're all getting our asses kicked around and thrown around, why can't Mays?" None that they put him in this week. I'm choosing Houston. There's no New England is not going to win.
Bobby.
Houston. Drake May is going to get it. I mean, first start, no, that defense is going to go after him.
Scott.
Yeah, I agree with Bob. It is going to be kind of ugly, and we'll see how it goes. It is going to be Houston without a doubt.
And Grayson.
Just like their logo, they're going to charge in there and tear it up like the Bulls they are. Give it to the Texans.
All right. Let's see. Going from one rookie quarterback to a possible another one starting. We'll see if Spencer Rattler plays, but it's going to be a divisional game. New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Brendan, who do you think has it this week?
Tampa Bay. New Orleans has fallen apart. And I don't know if it's because they played better teams or if they've just been figured out, but it is a tale of two cities with that team right now.
Bobby.
Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield.
Scott.
Yeah, too many weapons on Tampa Bay right now, and I agree. I think the Saints are just kind of lost right now, still trying to figure something out, and it's just not happening. So easily the Buccaneers.
Grayson.
Give me the same. Papa Baker is going to take the W, so give me Tampa Bay.
Ooh, back-to-back sweeps on our picks because I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I do think Spencer Rattler will give them some life, but being that it'll be his first start, if he starts, we don't know for sure yet. It's hard to come into the NFL and just have success, so give me Tampa Bay. Baker's playing lights out. He's got the energy and the drive. The receivers are starting to look healthy again, so yeah, Tampa Bay for me as well. I don't know who to give this to first. So, Grayson, just tell me about your team. Don't pick, and then I'll have Brendan tell me about his team. So you guys play fantasy and your teams play?
Yeah. I noticed
it's cosmic. What's there to tell you about my team? We have a lot of people hurt. Our defense is not nearly as good as it used to be, especially because of the injuries we have. We're playing with, we've shot ourselves in both feet, and we're trying to run, and we're trying to ignore the fact that we have two bleeding holes in both feet. So it's a battle of the lost and the damaged. So we're going to see what happens, but I won't give my pick until you let me, but that's my take on Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, we Cleveland, obviously we know what's going on there. Philadelphia kind of in the same mess. I mean, people already calling for Nick Sirianni to get fired. Players are getting hurt. They just cut one of their big signings today, Devin White. Brennan, tell us a little bit about the Eagles.
Well, Devin White hadn't played a single game. He has been inactive all year. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I hope with the bye week, they can connect a little better and, I don't know, get their act together. It will help that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both supposed to be back in action. They are both supposed to start this weekend. So, but I also know that the Eagles aren't great coming off bye. So, the past few seasons they've had slow starts back coming off bye and stuff. So, I think we'll see.
Believe me, if Deshaun Watson is starting, he'll find a way to get you guys where you need to be. Oh, God.
He's going to make our defense look like the Super Bowl defense from a few years ago.
Dude, it's going to be so... I already feel the ramifications of having to deal with this game from this weekend.
Don't worry, I'm not starting all my Eagles.
I appreciate that. It'll be just like the game itself. It'll just be like I just was standing there just in the wind while a freight train just comes and hits me.
I'll give you my pick real quick. I think it's going to be the score of 15-15 in overtime tie between the two teams. That's my pick. Bobby, what about you?
I'm going Philadelphia.
Now we're 1-0-1. Okay, Scott.
Oh, fly Eagles, fly easy, soaring over the stadium, doing kind of like the military flyovers, just zipping by. This
They
way
are
and
in
then that
Philly
way.
this game.
This way, then that way. So Eagles easy. Sorry, Grayson.
It's all good.
Grayson.
Yeah, it's like being in a toxic relationship. Eventually you have to call them out for their bad behavior and just walk away and watch them as they dwindle and continuously make bad decisions. So as much as I wish in the fantasy land of a tie, give me the Eagles because they're going to beat us like redheaded stepchildren. It's going to be brutal.
I just imagine I win this week because they do tie. Brendan, he picked the Eagles. Are you going to help him out and pick the Browns?
Definitely not.
Oh, come on. I thought we were going to have...
I'll never root against the Eagles.
All right, so we know that one. Let's see who we got up next. Washington, Baltimore. Brendan.
I'm going to choose Baltimore. I mean, Washington is a scary team right now, but I think this will be their first true test of where they stack up with some of the better teams in the NFL. And, give Jaden Daniels a true test of his ability. So,
Yeah.
Bobby, what about you?
I'm going Baltimore. Lamar Jackson. Baltimore's scary.
I mean, with Derrick Henry, yeah. If he can run for 200 yards every game.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking just as Brendan was, got to give kudos to the Commanders for the season that they've been playing so far. Been scary, but really going up against the Ravens, especially in Baltimore. Yeah, it will be ugly. So I'll say it'll be not as ugly as Philadelphia and Cleveland game will be, but it'll be. I think it'll be Baltimore pretty easy.
Grayson.
God. I can't say Baltimore. As much as logic tells me to say Baltimore is going to win, I refuse on principle and just fan base. Give me Washington even if I lose. I hope Baltimore loses, and I hope Lamar Jackson just is out of bounds again on a pass. Or just there's another call like that it just happens and it just costs them the game. That's all I want. Anyway, continue.
That makes me sad. It's my fantasy. That's my quarterback. It's my quarterback.
and Jaden Daniels is
I hope he goes down.
Give me Baltimore. I think, like everyone said, Jane Daniels, the Commanders, with the new coaching staff, have looked good. But as far as defense, they haven't played many defenses that are really stacking up in the top 10, top 15. I think most are outside of the top 15 that they've played. And last week he did kind of struggle. He still looked good, but looked more a little bit like a rookie, not like 2 weeks ago where he was just throwing the ball like crazy when they played Cincinnati. So give me the Ravens, especially if Derrick Henry and Lamar can just get going. It's gonna go for them. Oh, here we go. Bobby's about to pick the Chargers. Bobby, Chargers winning against Denver, and why?
No. I see Bo Nix having a great game this week. I'd say him having maybe 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. Yeah.
Brendan, what about you?
Which Denver Broncos is going to show up?
Yeah.
Not the retro jerseys. So
Because
probably the
sometimes
orange
they
pants
look really good, and sometimes they look really bad.
Yeah, it's going to be those weird orange pant Broncos, I think, this week.
Well, then I will say the Chargers. I have more faith in Herbert and Harbaugh than Peyton.
Yeah, I don't like Peyton. I think that's why it gives me such excitement to see Bo Nix yelling at him on the sideline. Scott?
I've really kind of been lost with how San Diego has gone this season. I've really kind of expected better from them the last 5 weeks, and maybe coming off the bye, they'll clean things up better. I think they have more guns than the Broncos, but I'm going to lead toward the Broncos in this one, especially since they're at home. That's going to be my leader. I'm going to go with Denver.
Grayson.
Yeah, give me Denver. I think even though the Chargers do have plenty of, utility on their team, I think they're just going through the same pains everybody is, losing starters, losing people that, they traded off, and just all of multiple seasons on being a winning team. They just kind of run out of gas. So I think they've honestly hit that point. And I think Denver will, because usually what happens is once they start getting a roll going, they just ride that out until their gas stops. So I think they're going to pull this one out.
Yeah, kind of looking at the teams, the Chargers have a decent defense, but the Denver defense, how Sean Payton's defenses are. So they've been looking good. I think it's going to be a low-scoring kind of snooze fest type of game. If you got kickers for this one, you might want to start them, but I do think Denver is going to pull this one out at home and set them up to just get smoked by the Chiefs in a week or so. Here's one. I don't know where to go on this. It's the terrible-looking offense game with the Steelers and the Raiders. Brendan.
Vanilla versus mediocre, who may or may not have their best players after this week. Because Max Crosby came out and said that him and Devontae Adams are a package deal. So they might be losing both their best players. I'm going to say Pittsburgh. I don't care for the Raiders. Never have, never will.
Well, we know Bobby's picking the Raiders, Bobby.
No.
Yeah, he
Pittsburgh
leads
Steelers, no.
forward, doesn't he?
Oh, God, no. I'm
Yeah,
going
Bobby,
Pittsburgh
did
after
you-
it. Yeah. No.
Did you ever get your Raiders hat from Tony, or did Tony?
I hate
just
the
take it?
Raiders. I'm a Raider hater.
But what about that hat that one YouTube commenter sent to your store?
I never got it.
Tony took it? So Tony just took it from produce?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to go talk to him. Scott?
I've said before that if I think that both teams are are equally in how they're going, that I'll kind of lean toward the home team just solely because they're at home. And that's exactly what I'm going to go with this game. I'm going to go with Raiders for no other reason that they're playing in Vegas. That's totally it.
All right, Grayson.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat as Scott. It's the deaf beating up on the deaf. Or I should be more specific. It's the blind beating on the blind because they have no idea what they're doing. It's just going to be. I'll be surprised if there's like any sort of upset, but I feel like it's going to be a close game. And I'm just going to go with Vegas because it's in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, home of no longer the Tropicana. I think it got demolished today.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Okay.
2 a.m.
So I know it's close. It's been over the time, Freed. Yeah, talk about a casino I've been able to walk through. But give me the Raiders. I mean, both offenses have looked terrible. Both defenses are mediocre. At the beginning of the year, I think the Steelers were playing lesser competition, so their defense looked really good. But against the Cowboys, especially in that 2 minutes in the rain, they just let Dak and the Cowboys do what they needed to. So give me the Raiders. Let's see. Oh, speaking of Dak, Brendan, we know you want to pick Dallas against Detroit. Why?
I really think the Cowgirls have a fighting chance of showing up and playing mediocre teams. And they're playing Detroit. Never mind. Detroit will win. Dallas can't do anything. They're watching Dallas games hurts my head this year. And it's not because I'm an Eagles fan. It's because it's kind of like the Eagles, actually. It's you guys have all this great potential and all this great. Everyone talks about how good you're supposed to be, and yet you're not. And I don't understand it on how you have all this superpower, how you will have all of this great players and abilities and stuff, and yet no one can seem to do their job at a high level in and out every week. And it frustrates me. I'm going Detroit.
Well, you know what they say about potential. It'll get you fired. So I think that's what's going to happen to a certain Dallas coach because, well, not fired, but they're not re-signing him. His contract's up, and I think maybe, the Dark Lord of the Patriots will be in the.
I heard he's going to the Jets.
Yeah, he turned them down once. He ain't ran another napkin again. Bobby.
I'm going Detroit too.
Detroit. All right, Scott.
Yeah, I hear so much about how great the Cowboys are, and I watch their games, and I just don't really feel it. I think the Cowboys get a lot more praise than they kind of deserve, especially this season. So I'm easily going to go with the Lions on this one.
All right, Grayson.
As long as CD Lamb gets 20 points or more for this game, I could care less. I just that's all I want. But realistically, the outcome, Detroit's gonna take the Cowboys to school, and all the Cowboys fans that are stuck in their delusions are gonna have to cry about it.
I mean, I think if David was on here, he would probably agree that they're not going to win. He was very, very realistic with his expectations on the draft. But I think Detroit right now is the best team in the NFC. I know Minnesota's still undefeated, also in their division. But I think come playoffs, come that type of environment, look at the offense. Detroit's the better team. I think they're going to be the better team here. We've seen Dallas go up against some of these higher-powered teams and just get smoked. And so, Grayson, I mean, you got Jared Goff. It might be one of those games. Of course, the Saints, too. I don't know. Again, it's a tough matchup for you.
You understand my troubles.
Well, here's not a tough matchup. If you're watching, you better be starting Kirk Cousins this week because the Atlanta Falcons are playing Carolina. And I'll just say it. He might put up 600 yards this week. I mean, it might just be bad.
72-3.
Whew. It might make that Bronco game last year look.
I was
not
going to
too
say,
bad.
don't give Bob flashbacks. PTSD.
Hey, the Dolphins fans are like, yes, please be that bad. Yeah, no, I'm taking Atlanta. This one's easy, Brendan.
Atlanta.
No hesitation. Okay, Bobby.
Atlanta.
Scott.
Yeah. You know, earlier I said that the Eagles were going to soar back and forth like the military flyover. It's going to be the same way in Atlanta. The Falcons will be zipping back and forth like the military jets before the game. It'll easily be the Falcons.
And Grayson, are you going to be a lone wolf on this one? Or are you going to?
I mean, Carolina could be a sleeper.
Don't do it, Grayson.
No, Kirk will be dripping like that. If you get the reference, you get the reference. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is about to. It's about to be bad.
Hey, another fantasy thing. If you guys, for anyone watching, if you have the Falcons players, probably start them.
Yeah,
probably a good bet there. Let's see. Oh, Sunday night. What game do we have going? Oh, joy. Cincinnati, New York Football Giants. Brendan. Daniel Jones, that's it. You're just taking Cincinnati.
Yeah, we'll see, but the Bengals, they have less travel. Giants are coming back from Seattle, high on their horse though. Beating a good Seahawks team. But yeah, I think the Bengals will have a better chance. I don't know if Malik Neighbors is playing though or not, or if he's still hurt. I didn't see if he played last week either, so I don't know. But I hope maybe Tracy plays and he'll do me good for fantasy.
See, off of principle, because the Giants stadium kicked us out of their stadium during WrestleMania, I'm going to pick the Bengals on this one, just because of that. Bobby?
Oh, God. I don't see the Giants winning. Giants are kind of a joke.
Hear that, Keegan? Your team got beat by a joke. Did you miss the punchline?
Oh, my life is a comedy. I used to think it was a tragedy, but then I realized it was a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Mine's more like a thriller.
I mean, I was just referencing a movie.
Well, I know what you were referencing.
Scott.
I'm kind of wondering if the last week's battle with the Ravens and the Bengals really kind of kicked up stuff in Cincinnati. So I'm thinking maybe you don't want to let sleeping cats lie. This could maybe, I think the Bengals will start showing some dominance here now for the remainder of the season. My kind of my guess for the remainder of the season is watch out for the Bengals. But it's going to start this week, and Bengals going to take the Giants down.
All right, Grayson, it's up to you.
It's going to be the Giants. Joe Burrow is still going through whatever crash out he's going through right now, looking all crew cut and everything else. So I don't think this team is falling off so hard. It's going to be the Giants without a doubt in my mind.
And then that leaves us with Monday Night Football. Because the 4 teams on bye week this week: Kansas City, the Rams, Miami, and Minnesota. So Monday night is the Battle of New York, Upstate, and Manhattan, New Jersey. Again, the stadium that kicked me and Brendan out. I still remember that every time I see that stadium. We got, it always happens, the coach bump. The new interim coach comes in, and that team kind of gets a confidence boost usually wins the game. We saw it with Jeff Saturday and the Colts that time. But against Buffalo, I think we'll get it done. Depending on the health of Josh Allen, I guess. God, I mean, that's all they have in Buffalo is Josh Allen on offense. So they need to protect him better, get a line, get some weapons. But give me Buffalo, Brendan.
I agree. I think Buffalo will win. The Jets just the last 2 weeks, they've not looked good, which is really weird because your offense is Green Bay's offense that went 13-3 and was putting up points. I mean, yeah, you don't have I guess Garrett Wilson's kind of like a Devontae Smith or Devontae Adams. That's, your number one deep threat. But the Jets should be playing better since they upgraded their quarterback, but yet they've scored the same amount of points with Zach Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. So, I don't know. There's nothing in my mind that can save the Jets. Buffalo it is.
Unless they play Carolina. Bobby.
Buffalo.
All right, we're going upstate so far. Scott, what about you?
And if the Jets lose, I see the owner getting rid of numbnuts too in New York. Numbnuts too.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
This is the puppet master.
that's
He
big
rid of it.
prediction. Big prediction.
That used to
there.
be our coach. That used to be our coach.
Oh, you're talking about that numbnuts.
Yeah.
Well, Brendan, we're trying to get somebody on the show, not get him to yell at us.
What's gonna happen?
Any publicity is good publicity.
What's gonna happen? I guarantee.
Scotty.
Actually, I'm going to go with Buffalo right now. They're kind of a little bit more established with what they do. May not be very good with what they do, but they're a little bit more established with what they do than I think New York's doing right now. So, going with Buffalo on that.
And Grayson.
Give me the Jets. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa. Don't scare me.
Look, I saw it on an ayahuasca trip. No, give me the Jets. Not the Jets. The Giants or Buffalo. God, New York people. One of those blue and red New York teams. One of them. Give me Buffalo. The Jets. They just kind of need to. They need to just take the gimme, get the draft picks, go for as close for the first draft pick as they can get, because this season pretty much feels like it's over for them. So give me Buffalo.
Well, and that is the slate this week. Bobby, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm probably going to go to the Pines Bar and Grill to watch the game.
Very, very good. Scott, what about you? What you got going on?
Hey, actually, I have a sled hockey tournament in Irvine, California this weekend. So I'm going to be heading out west, and actually won't be able to see any games this weekend on Sunday because that'll be my 6.5 hour drive coming back. So we'll hope that Sirius XM radio does well. That's the only way I'm going to be able to follow any games come Sunday. But big weekend coming up this way for sled hockey. Got 5 games on my doorstep, ready to go play. We'll go see how it goes. Hopefully come back with a championship. Hopefully come when we talk next week, I can show you a trophy, or at least a picture of a trophy. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, we will be rooting for you for sure, and hopefully you guys pull it out and get that trophy. And then, of course, Florida people, anyone watching in Florida, hopefully you guys have gotten out of harm's way because the hurricane, it's up to a Category 5 now.
It's
pretty strong. It's closing in on Katrina-sized hurricane, which was abnormally large, and I know you guys just got hit by one 3 weeks ago, so hopefully you guys got out of that zone and stay safe. But we will be back next Tuesday. If you want more from us, something will pop up on the right. I think it's our Joker Folie à Deux comic book talk that we did last night. And if you guys want to, the Chasing Billy site has posted a little bit more videos on the historical marker that was put up for Stinking Springs, so I'll put that in the description below. And more sports chat on your left, and let us know who will have the worst game this week. Just which game are you looking least forward to? Tell us in the